In the tarot, each suit has a specific meaning, and it is the combination of suits which informs the whole of what it means to be a human being on this pale blue dot flinging through the cosmos. Before I share with you the writing prompts developed using my personal Heindel tarot deck, here are some general lenses through which you may view the prompts provided, should you get stuck or need a bit more insight before thinking through your scene. The suit of wands is associated with the element of fire and corresponds to human action. The suit of cups is associated with the element of water and corresponds with human emotion. The suit of swords is associated with the element of air and corresponds with human perception and thought. And the suit of stones, associated with the element of earth, corresponds to human labor. Please keep in mind that every card has an upright or positive meaning and a reversed or negative meaning. However, I don't participate in the separation of such dualities. Instead, I look at each card as the complex whole it truly is, as unique and nuanced as a person fitting the archetype of any card. If you find the prompt gives you a starting spot, but you need more to conceptualize the scene as a whole, revisit my previous video, Generate Story Ideas with Tarot, here's how, and outline your scene with greater depth for writing. First, you should know that after cleaning my tarot deck, I flipped these cards at random intentionally. Going down lists of cups and swords and wands and stones, while effective, can actually hamper creative output because many cards in the same suit have similar qualities, the nuances of which can become watered down by the perception of sameness. As such, you will find the numbered suit cards mixed with the minor and major arcana in the chaotic glory available from a well-shuffled and well-loved tarot deck. Second, if you have a tarot deck at home, you're welcome to use your own cards and pair them with the prompts below. Clean your cards, then pull a card from your deck to determine your scene of the day. Find the corresponding prompt later in this video and start writing. If you find it easier, you can also go to the MetaStellar website to find the text article and use the Control F function to find the card that you need. Lastly, if you don't have a tarot deck at home, or if you're going off script intentionally, choose a prompt at random, eyes closed, fingers on the screen, or one that speaks to you intuitively, or one that may pose a particular challenge to overcome. And if you're the tenacious must finish what I start type, use one prompt per week to pen a new scene, test your skills, and create a backlog of stories to edit, publish, and share. Now, without further ado, the lovers. Lack of love or deep loneliness highlights the importance of partnership or companionship within the human spirit. The Father of Cups. A domineering person has lost his power or fortune and thus has lost his creativity, causing him to become insecure, even jealous. Mother of Stones. An older woman, despite her well-earned confidence, has lost her personal center and embarks on a destinationless journey to find it. Seven of Wands. The courage to make a new choice or take a new direction is seized, but not without first the mental anguish of reconsideration. The Universe. The tide turns and the exciting and unexpected future begins for a person for whom confidence may have been lagging. The Star. A cleansing is taking place in a ritual designed to instill hope and renewal in otherwise tense or anxiety-inducing present circumstances. Justice. A relationship is going badly, and during the analysis, participants are acting unfairly and avoiding honest evaluations of their culpability. Magician. A person is experiencing inner resistance, even arrogance, as he strives to gain control of his life and transform old situations. Daughter of Stones. A teenager exhibits courage and inner beauty in taking responsibility for something greater than herself, despite feeling out of place and having trouble relaying her ideas and emotions. The Chariot. Deep fear is driving a person who may be experiencing lack of will, passivity, or weakness as a result and must find the will to continue to push forward. Ace of Stones. A family has health prosperity, and good weather, but the people don't appreciate their gifts and express materialism through conflicts over money or property. 6 of Cups. Unbalanced or excessive behavior diminishes the power of love, disrupting the peace for those who fail to recognize happiness until the moment has passed. Aeon. A person is suspended in a period of painful change and is beginning to see the world through new eyes while realizing the strain of rebirth. Son of Wands. A person with a deep and unyielding love of life and interest in the arts encounters a problem which forces them to go deep into conflict to find resolution. The Tower. A legacy tradition is headed toward disaster and must be shaken up to avoid destruction, though pressure is building and long buried emotions are busting loose. 9 of Wands. A person with great energy and power becomes arrogant, especially toward others who may feel weak or display weakness, which could lead to a misuse of newfound wisdom. The Hanged Man. Someone has achieved true independence through spiritual awareness, but finds that their state of enlightenment comes with a risk of unattachment and lack of purpose. Ace of Cups. Love that once flowed openly between two people has become blocked because of communication troubles, and the pair find themselves questioning the value of life. The Hierophant. Community leaders in a small town are preparing for a public display of solemn commitment, using the occasion as a social pressure to promote conformity, even as old ideas are losing meaning. 4 of Wands. An exciting moment for taking action toward growth and a new life is coming, but one impatient person may introduce errors by refusing to wait for genuine opportunity. 2 of Cups. Your character needs to make a commitment, but there is jealousy and conflict about the coming uncertain future, making the decision that much more difficult. Death. Resisting change has led to stagnation and inertia, and it is the pain of giving up something that will ultimately lead to letting go of the old and welcoming the new. 2 of Wands. The power of spiritual truth leads your character to give up their power to seek adventure, yet their will remains strong. Daughter of Swords. A young and powerful woman is confident and dynamic in her position of power, yet conflict threatens her confidence and leads to depression. The Wheel of Fortune. There's been a sudden and unexpected change of circumstances, and your character begins to recognize it's their time to take control of their life while adjusting to or resisting such change. Daughter of Cups. A woman who is calm and radiant begins to ignore her history and starts losing confidence while trying to bring peace and strength to combat the conflict. Son of Stones. Your character takes action toward positive change and must avoid selfishness and despair while keeping the impacts of the next 7 generations in mind. Mother of Wands. A woman with wild, dark energy and sexual magnetism finds that there's joy in some kinds of destruction, which may outweigh the benefits of love and joy. 8 of Swords. Gossip presents a major distraction to your character, who needs to seek help or advice but is instead avoiding responsibility. 10 of Swords. A personal difficulty has blossomed into a major problem, causing pain and confusion for a person who desperately needs to but feels they cannot rest. 8 of Wands. A person has found a worthy goal and direction in life, which has led to a new love affair. However, the goal and the affair present contradictory activities, and difficult choices must be made. The Moon. On the night of the full moon, when fantasy runs high, your character finds that daydreams are a source of creativity, but understands that the conscious mind must give way to the unconscious to access deep imagination. Daughter of Wands. A room full of family, friends, and folks who exist somewhere in the gray between the two is full of joy, abundance, and good sense within cultural norms. However, those present are all battling unfulfilled potential. Mother of Swords. A mysterious and devoted person who has seized their autonomy greatly exaggerates their need for privacy, pointing fingers at privacy for their inability to balance love of solitude and love of others. 3 of Cups. A character experiences joy to the point of tears, the result of which is emotional instability. 5 of Stones. A family is experiencing severe hardship due to money, illness, or isolation, and must practice caution as they look ahead to something better. The Empress. A mother finds herself in her beautiful garden during what should be a peaceful activity, but she finds herself thinking about her own mother and has difficulty expressing herself through her gardening work. The Sun. Life is wonderful for your characters who are full of energy, activity, and optimism, despite the day-to-day problems each family member faces, which shake their confidence and lead to small frustrations. Ace of Wands. Fire is given as a gift at a beginning to a family feeling scattered, even confused or pessimistic about what the new beginning will bring. 5 of Wands. A battle is occurring, but the participants are without bitterness or hatred. Many are avoiding what feels personal, even when avoidance turns into aggression for continued conflict. Ace of Swords. A powerful and intelligent person expresses clear thinking, which distorts when confronted with anger or aggression. Strength. Meditation or relaxation techniques are deeply needed to dispel overwhelm and grant inner strength to one who will use it to pay love forward. Son of Cups. A sweet-tempered but naive young man with a good heart encounters a test, which asks him to avoid responsibility and may lead to callousness if he makes the wrong choice. 4 of Cups. Someone finds themselves in a moment of peace and balance, recognizing that action is possible and leads to growth. However, expressing suppressed emotion is necessary to achieve such ends. 2 of Stones. There's tension in the room, and a person finds themselves caught between harmony and disharmony, choosing solitude over solidarity when it matters most. 6 of Wands. Confidence and firm action will lead to triumph, but a negative attitude born of loss of belief can lead to failure if the person isn't careful. 4 of Swords. During a moment of calm, your character takes a decided step into chaos, choosing to bear old troubles for new beginnings. Father of Swords. A dominant person used to delegating responsibilities to others finds himself challenged in creative intellect and becomes jealous of someone else's power and potential. 7 of Cups. A character at risk of losing their grip on reality by sinking too far into fantasy must adopt a more realistic outlook by addressing once hidden problems that emerge. The Hermit. A character has chosen to withdraw from outside interests, choosing self-reliance and, in the process, self-creation. However, there is an ever-present fear of loneliness coloring the experience. 6 of Swords. There is an immediate need for honesty and objectivity during a time when idealism is being used for selfish ends. 7 of Swords. A terrified woman must leave a bad situation for new possibilities, but she's dealing with feelings of utter uselessness and wonders whether the new is worth the challenge. 8 of Stones. Avoiding excessive action is the typical approach of a family battling growing levels of impatience and ignorance, and is thus expressing a lack of moderation and care, leading to heightened emotion. The High Priestess. Your character uses intuition as feeling, uses the quiet to look inward. What she sees is a need for action involving others, even romance, which is atypical for a person of her disposition. Son of Swords. A guy who is gentle and persuasive becomes an initiate in a long-standing mystery and uncovers weakness in the ranks, even becomes aware of corruption. Mother of Cups. The matriarch of a family is a plain and honest person who draws fortitude from ancient forces, but may be out of touch with physical reality as a result. The Devil. Something exciting, something that is forbidden and possibly dangerous is about to happen, and your character must choose whether and how to resist temptation. 8 of Cups. After experiencing a major, real or perceived, failure, arrogance and greed stop your character from accepting needed help from others, which blocks positive change and joy. 10 of Cups. With a little effort, successful development occurs, but it is not without negativity, a hint of apathy, and the feeling that success may be blocked, though it isn't. 10 of Stones. A person with good health, a good life, and a solid sense of reality finds himself unable to appreciate material wealth or security. Nine of Swords. A person feels like a victim, like the butt of a cruel joke, and is seeking relief from such conditions via confusion and emotional manipulation. Nine of Cups. Fortune, wealth, and emotional breakthroughs are possible for your character if they can put away stinginess and feelings of loss and tap into their generosity. Alchemy. Setbacks can turn enthusiasm into dejection without moderation, and your character is currently trying to get themselves back into control, curbing excessive behavior and conserving energy. 10 of Wands. A transformation from cruelty to liberation is underway, and your character is emerging from a bad situation with newfound wisdom gained from adversity. 4 of Stones. Creativity and a flood of new ideas are generating overwhelming energy for your character who is losing their sense of place and experiencing fear. 5 of Cups. The confusion and disappointment your character is experiencing is greatly exaggerated, a tactic used to avoid taking a realistic view of the past when the truth is uncomfortable. 3 of Wands. While in harmony with nature and experiencing good fortune, a character becomes aware of the difficulty in finding purpose because they are not in harmony with their present self, despite the good they've realized. 6 of Stones. Your character finds happiness in inner truth and decides to begin saving or investing during a moment of prosperity, fearing their joy may be short-lived. 2 of Swords. During a tranquil moment in which your character has an opportunity for prosperity, an external disruption threatens their peace, and your character must look within to regain it. 3 of Swords. An oppressive moment full of mourning and sorrow descends upon a family having difficulty accepting their loss and sitting with the fact that natural cycles, the ups and downs, bring renewal. 5 of Swords. Your character must hold on to their principles until it's time to make a change, while accepting that courage and persistence will help make the situation better. 3 of Stones. A person finds deep satisfaction in their work such that they've become complacent, perhaps lazy, which leads to work not going well to the point where they may lose their job. 9 of Stones. Being greedy or misusing material gain leads to a lack of money, security, health, and comfort, and may perpetuate a cycle of lack. The Emperor. Energy and desire have become the rule of law, and your character holds massive influence over society, but he also lacks sensitivity, a trait which must be developed for long-term potency. Father of Wands. A calm person who is rooted in their strength begins displaying snobbery, especially when faced with people he believes are less intellectual than he and thus are points of weakness. 7 of Stones. Failure is possible without careful redirection, and your character is ready for a fresh start following recovery. The Fool. An innocent person who is naive but faithful has difficulty trusting their own instincts and has a deep fear of the unknown, which leads to impulsivity and recklessness. Father of Stones. A character who cares deeply for both family and nature and works hard to protect and nurture both suddenly finds himself in pain at the suffering of the world, which feels newly cold and uncaring. So, which tarot-based writing prompts speak to you? And which prompt will you use first to tell a new story? Happy writing. P.S. Beginning Sunday, November 2nd, 2025, MetaStellar's Emma Foster will step into her new role as our writing advice columnist. Look for my final article and video next week, and let's wish Emma well as she forges ahead in a new capacity. Congratulations, Emma. But I'm not going to disappear either. I work with indie authors at most stages of writing and revision. If you're ready to connect with me and other writers working hard to make writing part of their careers, fly into the Novel Nest. Check out the About the Editor section to see my services, portfolio, and some client reviews. Join our group on Discord, and let's get started. I can't wait to hear about you and your story. Have a story ready to submit for publishing consideration? MetaStellar's autumn fiction submission window is open until October 31st. Check out our submission guidelines and share your work. Your story could be someone's next favorite read. And of course, the best way to know whether your fiction is a fit for our magazine is to read what we publish. The Best of MetaStellar Year 4 anthology is now available, and you can also peruse our back catalog of published stories. And now for a special thank you to our Patreon supporters who keep the MetaStellar Magician's bag of tricks full.